Go ahead. How are you doing?
I'm fine. And, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you, and great to see so many different people from around the world. Actually, we have kind of a unique group here. We've got all of the Startup Grind chapter directors, and then we've also got the team from HQ, the Startup Grind team, and then we've also invited some of Bebby's team to join as well. So you've got, a pretty diverse audience here, a unique audience, and just really excited to have you. I know we kind of did this a little bit last minute. That's my fault, but grateful for you making time and for everybody else being here.
Thank you, Drake. Thank you for having me. Somehow, I feel a bit of discomfort because for past 5 years I've been in your chair. I've been asking people questions, but now it seems like it's uh, reverse. So until I get myself comfortable, you would have some discomfort with me.
That's
Anyhow,
my hope.
I'm
That's my
very
hope.
excited to be talking to my family, because if it's Baby or Startup Grind, HQ or chapter directors, I feel we're in one family. And last couple of days has proved this more than any time before.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that's my whole goal, is to make you uncomfortable and to make you squirm a little bit. And one thing that kind of drives speakers crazy is I will not send the questions before. Like, I won't do it. I find it to be, for me, I think it takes all of the sort of spontaneity out of the interview. So sometimes people are like, "Hey, am I gonna get the questions?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll see." And then so anyways, here we are. We'll try to keep you in the hot seat. But let me first just introduce you. Ahmad Didar is the founder and executive director of Agazi Professional Services, a management consulting firm focused on development of entrepreneurship and startup ecosystem in Afghanistan. Mr. Didar holds an MBA degree in information systems and has more than 16 years of professional experience. He's worked with different national, international, government, private sector organizations. He is among the leading entrepreneurs of Afghanistan, who has put incredible effort to contributing to economic development throughout the country. He obviously managed Startup Grind's chapter in Afghanistan. He's also one of the leading organizers of Techstars Startup Weekend, and he founded Silicon Valley Afghanistan Business Incubation Center. He also co-founded Impact, a global social entrepreneur movement. He is one of the core members of the advocacy dialogue in government for introduction of Afghanistan's first startup policy, and he published Afghanistan's Startup Ecosystem Report. There's more. I'm going to stop there. As you're also a father, and remind me how many kids you have, Ahmad?
I have 3 kids, 3 baby dolls.
You're currently in Turkey, in Istanbul, unless you have moved. Is that still right? Are you in Istanbul?
No, I'm in Istanbul still.
Okay. So I'd like to just kind of start. Tell us a little bit. You have been the CEO of this great company that you created, and is bringing economic development inside of Afghanistan. Tell people a little bit about the business that you built. Tell us about how many people were in it, what you were doing, how long you've been running it, that sort of thing.
Sure, Derek. This company I started in 2016. However, I had the idea of the company 2014, so the very initial steps like naming the company and designing its services, I started in 2014. But actually, officially, when I started the company, it was 2016, and it was the year when I also joined the Startup Grind family. The company is basically a management consulting company, and we are focusing a lot on development of entrepreneurship ecosystem. We have designed a number of activities, and around 20 people are working with me like full time. I don't know if they will work with me from now onwards or not, because things have changed in Afghanistan. But still, right now there are 20 people who work with me as permanent employees. Then we have been, during the 5 years that we are managing this company, we have given temporary employment through our projects to more than hundreds of people.
Mm.
And we have our main office in Kabul. Then we have three other offices in regional hubs of Afghanistan, namely Kandahar, Mazar, Herat. So we have offices there, and we mainly design our own programs. uh, at the same time, we manage projects for eight organizations like U.S. government aid agency, which is called USAID, then German government's aid uh, entity, which is a technical cooperation kind of organization called GIZ. So for organizations like this, we implement projects, but all of our projects are toward entrepreneurship, small businesses development, and startup culture development.
It's great. Yeah, go ahead.
And in our company, what we do, we take entrepreneurship as a value chain, same like a value chain for a product. We think in Afghanistan, in the situation that we have there, entrepreneurship should be nurtured in the mindsets. So we have designed a program called X Million, under which we work with school students and early students and early years of their university studies to pitch them entrepreneurship path. Then we manage, after that, we mainly to inspire people, those who are already in the job market or those who will soon come to job market. We introduce them, inspire them through stories of other entrepreneurs, and mainly Startup Grind has played a big role in this. And then Startup Valley, which is a business incubator and accelerator. Here, those who are inspired, those who want to start, we give them supports. And then we have another entity inside our company, which is called Karga. It means workshop. It focuses on rural entrepreneurship. So women and men who are working from their houses in
Yeah.
4 areas of Afghanistan. We provide them with some very customized education because most of them don't have proper education. So very customized programs for illiterate people on how they can become an entrepreneur and manage a business. So this is the kind of activity we do.
Tell us a little bit about how you first started the Start Grind chapter, and what, like, how did you hear about it and how did you get involved?
Oh yeah. So whenever someone asked me this question, so first of all, I thank Founder Institute because that's how I got introduced to Startup Grind. I was working with Toyota Motor Corporation in Afghanistan, and I was feeling that that's enough for me to be an employee, so I can start my own business. But really, I did not know how to start a business. In my university, I learned how to manage a company, but how to start a company, I never learned it. No one teach me that. So what I did, I saw this ad that there is an information session from Founder Institute in Kabul, and they will teach us how to start a company. So
Mm,
I went and attended this program. uh, this was started by one of my friends. And when I was there, someone asked a question from this friend who started this Founder Institute. I don't know if he wanted to just ignore him or what. So he referred him to me. Oh, here is Mr. Didar. He knows a lot about business, and you can ask him. Then I was a bit hesitating now to tell that I want to register for this. So I did not register. Then I came like, oh, if I cannot be, uh, let's say, an entrepreneur, and as a student of Founder Institute, maybe I can be a mentor. So I joined Founder Institute as a mentor. So as soon as I started there, I learned about the startups, this startup culture and everything. It really touched my heart, and somehow I became very interested in startups. So I felt like maybe when I heard that Microsoft is supporting a lot Founder Institute. So I felt like maybe Google is also doing something with the startup. So I went to their website. I found this website for Google for entrepreneurs, and I saw they're helping a lot of other startup community builders. Then I found the startup grind brand there. And to be honest, the very first thing which catched my eye was the brand itself, the name and how the logo was arranged. So I went, I studied, and then I sent you an email. It was just a random email to tell you. It was just a random email, or I filled this application form on the website. I think I have the date when I sent it. I sent it on August 7th of 2014. And then within 1 or 2 days, I got a reply from you, uh, that you were excited to start a chapter in Afghanistan. But on that time, because I was not very well prepared, I could not start it. Next time, exactly, I think after 1 year, once again, I restarted the conversation with Derek. And then this time we were serious because now we knew what to do, how to do it. And then Startup Grind on 3rd on 3rd March 2016, the very first event of Startup Grind popped in Afghanistan. So I can see you're bringing this old conversation. We have some photos, I think, here from the very first event. This one is not the first event, but we have other
beginning.
photos. Yeah, so this is the very first event. We really put a lot of effort for the very first event because it was one of its kind event in Afghanistan. So we try to make it as good as possible. So I think like 3 to 4 months of work went into this event, uh, pre-event preparations. We had this beautiful stand banners sent by headquarters, and then we also made a package, branded package, startup grind pens, startup grind notebooks, startup grind folders, and then it was just not an event. It was really a trendsetter in Afghanistan. A startup was introduced in Afghanistan with this event. We had around 160 people attending the event.
Mm,
It was covered by Al Jazeera. It was covered by Voice of America. It was covered maybe Red Herring, and lot of others. And even in Fort, someone wrote an article, and they mentioned about arrival of a startup grind in Afghanistan. So, and also almost all of the local channels broadcasted the news about this event. We appeared in several interviews. So just within this day, startup was officially introduced in Afghanistan. Uh, I think I've put some pictures here as well when you were giving also a message to Afghan people. So we recorded a message from you and played it during the event, actually in the beginning of the event. And just this event become like crazy event. So everyone wanted the next version, that next one to come, and we were very happy. And also for me, as an entrepreneur in as a company, my company in myself was introduced to people. So people from that event onwards, I became a celebrity in Afghanistan. So people wanted to talk to me, to take selfies with me. And then we keep on building events on events. We in the next versions we brought the startups to come and showcase your products. Then we went to other cities, like this photo you're seeing is from Mazar. You can see this stage. Actually, I did
I
not
know
prepare.
you've got like the fog. You got the fog machines out.
Yes, actually, it was not my idea. I was also shocked when I saw this. Those who were helping me, the volunteers, they saw this thing available in this
Your game,
nice
Tom.
auditorium, and they just played it. It was
Right.
very nice. In this event, we had 400 people attending the event. So
Mm.
it was almost a conference, not an event. Actually, majority of Kabul events were like a conference. However, we wanted to be a normal startup grind event, but the enthusiasm and uh, people's love to startup grind and the word startup, they would make it like a conference every time. And then we also started with small scale events recently in 2020 and 2001, after pandemic, because we were not allowed to do big events. Then we labeled it as a young entrepreneurs events, and we started bringing very young entrepreneurs, those who have very new companies and good companies. So they would come and talk about their stories. As you can see, they are all young entrepreneurs, and they have small startup companies in Afghanistan.
I'd love to just quickly talk about Zara, if we could. I know we're probably going to bring her at some point. Actually, she's going to speak at Global, but I think maybe we'll bring her before then for everyone to meet. But maybe you could just tell us just quickly about her, and then I'm going to want to talk about kind of move towards what's happening in Afghanistan right now. So tell
Okay.
her a little bit about Zara.
Well, Derek, Zara is a young woman. Actually, she's a girl, a very, very young aged girl. She lives in a place in Afghanistan. It's called Bamiyan. It's one of the most tourist attractive area because the oldest statue of a Buddha was there, which was broken by Taliban. Actually, it was blown with rockets by Taliban last time when they were in power. She comes from there, and this area is very popular for its handicraft. So Zara and her mother, they started a very small scale shop for handicraft products of Bamiyan in city of Bamiyan, and later they were very well known because slowly they added many other products, and they started to offer jobs for women in their homes. So they would ask women to make embroidery products, handicraft products, then they would sell it through their channels. So she was very inspiring, and that made us to go to Bamiyan and have a fireside chat with her. So she was one of our speakers in Air 2007, 20, I think. And then uh, she also helped us in some of our projects. And then later, during when Taliban came back, there was a horrific thing with her. I was not aware of that. When you talked, when you asked me, do you know Zara? Then I knew and read about her in Mirror.
Yeah.
Uh, that she is hiding somewhere in Kabul and she was threatened by Taliban because she was a popular figure in Bamyan. She was a woman, a businesswoman. She have been traveling a lot and doing lots of stuff which, according to the Taliban, women should not do. And luckily that we knew her, and then you helped her to get to this plane. So this last picture is from the evacuation plane. It's a U.S. Army plane, which was which were used for evacuation of Afghans to safe places. So Zara, with help of startup grind, especially Derek and Neda, uh, could manage to flee Afghanistan, and I think now she is in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, just add a couple of things there. She, she had this threat, this direct threat from the Taliban. She went and lived in a cave for some time, for many days, to sort of, so she couldn't be found. Then they made their way to Kabul. How far would her city be from Kabul?
It is around 6 to 8 hours.
Okay. So
Yeah.
So she made her way to Kabul. She was in a hotel. And yeah, where we became aware of her was this story that this journalist in the Mirror, which is a kind of a tabloid, I think, in the UK. And he reached out to us on Twitter and said, "Hey, do you know about this woman's situation?" And we did not at the time. And within 10 minutes of speaking with the journalist, I was then speaking with Zara. And, we certainly are not, first of all, when people ask me, how did Zara get out of Afghanistan? I always say she got herself out, because she and her mom and her sister went to the airport. They stayed there day and night. They didn't eat for days. They were sleeping there under incredible duress. Eventually, she did. There was a lot of awareness about her. I mean, many of you were trying to help her, and you read about her story, and she did secure some form of visa, which just sort of landed in her inbox, and then she went to the airport and waited. She stood in the sewage for 4 hours, and by some miracle, she 30 or so minutes or an hour before the bomb went off, a military personnel saw her in the sewage canal, pointed her out, brought her and her sister and her mom up, and that person, who I think we're trying to find, gave her and her mom and her sister all of their food and everything that they had, and tried to help them. And eventually she was able to get on a plane, that very shortly thereafter, one of the last planes to leave. And she is, currently she was in Germany for a few weeks at a camp at a military base. Then she flew to DC. She's currently in Indianapolis. And as I understand it, she will either she's sort of waiting in a processing facility with dozens of other refugees. And she will either end up in Texas or she will end up in New Jersey. And so we're sort of waiting to see where she ends up. And of course we'll let you all know and try to help her, but grateful that she is definitely in a much safer place. And her story is just one of the most unbelievable stories I've ever heard, of how she is. And this is where I mean, we were texting, and I said to her at one point, just said, I mean, you can just imagine, she really believed she was going to die, and that she and her family would be killed because of what she did with her business. And, and she was going back and forth to the airport. They slept there one night, then they went back to the hotel. They kind of, they weren't making progress. And, texting her, talking to her, just said, hey, this is what great entrepreneurs do. We figure out how to solve problems and to get there. I just said, you need to figure it out, figure out how to get through. And to her great credit, she figured it out. Many others have not been so lucky. We have about 45 or 50 other people who are related to Startup Grind, and it's really about 6 or 7 people, and then their families that Ahmad, Netta, and myself have been working with, trying to help for the past month and a half or so through. I mean, Ahmad, you and I and Netta could probably write a book. It wouldn't be a very successful book because we haven't been successful yet of all the different things that we have been trying to do to help our team members get out. And I'm still very hopeful. Even last night I got from someone on one of our teams, reached out to me with a contact, and a new lead just kind of sprouted up, and we have another thing from 2 days ago that we're working on. So it's been very slow, and the planes aren't really coming in and out very much right now in Afghanistan, but I'm very optimistic that we will figure it out. It's just going to take a little more time, and we just can't forget about it and need to be persistent. But Zara's a great great success story, and hopefully something we can build on for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. She was in a very bad situation. There was some cash contribution from Startup Grind for her because she needed, and she was almost broke and had nothing to do. And luckily, we got some funding from Startup Grind to take it to her. And even when she was receiving this, my staff were telling me that she was somehow doubting that if this is a real thing or not, because she was under the threat and she was not feeling safe with anyone. But because she already knew our company, she was our guest in a Startup Grind, and she have been working with us. So somehow she was asking directly for me, but I told her that I'm not there, and my colleagues will help you. So that was what the contribution was very handy for her and for some other of the families of Startup Grind there. And hopefully we can manage to bring some more people out.
Well, that was an unbelievable thing that happened. We don't want to spend too much time on it, but all the banks closed. There's no money being transferred or exchanged or accessed, including your money, which has been totally locked in Afghanistan, unable to withdraw from the banks or anything like that. And what was another sort of small miracle in this whole thing was you having the connection that you have to Afghanistan, and us having the connection to you. We could get money to you, sort of. We're still trying to get some of the money to you, but we could get money to you, via Western Union, and then you then could call someone in Afghanistan and say, "Hey, I've got the money. Go ahead and pay these people," and then they literally, walked or rode over to their homes and took them the money and handed it to them. It's, you think about, there's so many people in these situations. I mean, so many people even here and around the world that want to help, and that there's no way you can't wire money, you can't send, there's no way to do it in some ways. And you facilitated us figuring out how to do that, which was really incredible, and came at a really important time for a lot of people. So thank you for facilitating that.
Thank you. It was actually my major duty to do that, but thank you guys for making this available when no one could help. Then our friends from SG community came handy to help.
Mo Salah, who's based in Jordan, but at the moment he just travels around the world, just posting on Instagram like a influencer or something. He asked, did we manage to get all the team out? The answer is no. We haven't gotten any of the other 7 families. It's the sort of either a Startup Grind team member or someone that contributed to the events or helped. Like there's 7 people that we have identified, and their families, that equals about 50 people. So no, we haven't gotten any of those people out other than Zara. We haven't gotten them out, but we, continue to work and have all of their information and, have these different leads of things we're following up on, trying to help them, as quickly as we can.
In I think the night that we stood all night together and we were trying to take these people out, it also worth to be mentioning that we mention it here. Even we received the driver names. Like there were buses which will drove out of airport, pick the people and take them back to airport to put them on evacuation list or flights. We were able to manage to bring all these people to the buses. And we even received the driver names. And we were told that within 15 minutes, they will be knocking the doors of the people. But unfortunately, uh, Taliban took over the airport because US military left early, uh, and Taliban took over the Kabul airport, and these buses had to come back. Otherwise, the drivers who were Westerners, they they would be and they would end to stay in Kabul. So even they would be trapped. So they came back and our people were left behind. However, we were almost like maybe a hour away from taking them to the planes. So we
Yeah.
tried our level best, Drake, in all the team. And it all happened after the email which was sent by Derek to our team, like to our Startup Grind family. And then out of that, we got a number of contacts.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, so huge thanks to everyone, and many of the people that are here in this room specifically made a big effort and introduced us to friends and co-founders and their best contacts and, people in government and all sorts of people. So thank you so much for that. When I sent that email, it was really sort of a desperate moment of, we've worked incredibly hard for the last 3 weeks or so. We had sort of exhausted all of our leads and our sort of relationships. And, I was sort of like, I don't know what to do. And by the next morning, when I sent that in the middle of the night, we had a number of things that ended up leading to, some really good opportunities. The problem was, after the bomb went off at the airport, the US government basically decided they were done. They didn't want anyone else, any other Americans to die. And so it was just, and I don't know any American who was involved in trying to extract people. I don't know anyone who wasn't furious about what was happening. Not a single person. Every person that was involved in trying to get people out was absolutely embarrassed and mortified and horrified of what we were doing, and what we had done to our friends in Afghanistan. But the government basically decided, like, we're leaving, and once that bomb went off and killed 13 Americans and I think about, I'm sorry I don't have the exact number, but somewhere around 60 or 70 Afghans. It was basically like a race to shut everything down. And then the government left, as Ahmad said, the night because at that point, the only way to leave was someone had to pick you up at your house and take you. You couldn't go meet somewhere or go to a gate or anything like that. Like literally a car had to arrive at your home and pick you up, or you could not leave. And we had arranged that by a miracle. And then at 1 a.m. Afghan time, the U.S. government left Afghanistan officially. And this kind of shocked everyone because we thought we had another 12 hours or so. But when that happened, like the whole country just shut down immediately. And so that's kind of the state that we've been in since then. Ahmad, I wanted to ask you, just you personally, just show a picture of your family here. What have the last 45 days been like for you personally, and your wife, and your family?
Well, very, what to say? I would not say frustrating. I cannot name it. It's a kind of situation that you are leaving everything behind, your family, your friends, your belongings, and especially your country. And while you want to be there, like you are not trying, it was, I've never tried to leave my country and be a migrant in very tough times. But this time we had to leave. And I was lucky that I left a bit early because, as you said, I have a smart wife, so she made me to leave the country a bit early. But for this time, now I don't know if I can go back to Afghanistan or not. Uh, I've been last time when Taliban came there, I was a very young boy, so I did not really care a lot. But this time, when Taliban came after 20 years, uh, it is very, very distracting for me because for last 20 years, I've been part of the development of Afghanistan. Whether I was working with Ministry of Finance as a director, as a software engineer with Ministry of Agriculture, as a manager with Toyota, or as a entrepreneur in my own company, working especially these last 5 years, building startups, giving young people a way of living. I was part of all these developments that happened in last 20 years with support from international community, US being the top contributor. uh, Now I have left that all, and I literally came out of my country with one shirt. It's very like very makes me very emotional, especially when I cannot, when I don't know if I will go back or not. So this is very kind of, I don't want anyone to go through this. I'm very sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Um, as I have spent time with you, and as I have, sort of learned more about you and your situation, I think the biggest thing that I have thought, and I have talked with my kids and my wife at dinner many times about, as with these things were unfolding, about what was happening and about you. I just can't imagine what you and your family are going through. And I can't imagine being in the situation and showing the strength that you have shown to have your business. Again, people who are watching this, just imagine you are forced out of your home, everything you have built over, Ahmad and I are the same age, 39. Everything you've built for the last 20 years, your money is frozen in your account, your business is taken from you, you have nothing that you can bring with you. And the strength that you are showing through this entire process is one of the most incredible things I have ever seen. And I'm I have been amazed to watch you and to see what you have done for so many other people while your own situation is as perilous. Maybe you are not in physical danger in Istanbul, but every other danger faces you, and maybe to some degree you are in physical danger in Turkey. You know, and you haven't shared that. I don't know, but it, you know, there's so much uncertainty, and yet you have spent every minute I have talked to you in the last 6 weeks has been spent. How can we help other people? And that's been really inspiring for me to, and again, I've been sharing it with anyone that I talk to about it, about you and your selflessness towards so many other people and trying to help them in spite of your own situation being just as difficult as anyone else's, if not more difficult.
Well, anyhow, but I think we are entrepreneurs. We go through hard times and then we come back. Uh, I'm sure that we will go through this. I hope that my country will pass this hard time. Even I pray that maybe this time Taliban will be a different Taliban, because at least they for 20 years they have been doing politics. They have seen many other nations somehow. So I hope this time there are different people and they will bring peace to our country. Anyhow, for me, still Drake, I want to stay here in Istanbul because it's near to my country. Whenever flights starts and I don't feel like, I feel that I will not be killed there, no one will touch me, then I will for sure go back to that country. Uh, because if all of us leave that country, so obviously it will become what Taliban wants it to become. So some people should resist. I know everyone, I don't expect everyone to do that. And they have the right to live out of Afghanistan, to live out of Afghanistan in peace. But I, maybe I feel that I should be there. I haven't applied for US visa. I haven't applied for uh, Canada visa or any other places. And I have very good documents in hand. Maybe if I apply within a week, I will be out from Turkey as well. But I don't want. I want to stay here for a while and see how things move in Afghanistan, if I can contribute back to this country again. So that's my plan. However, right now, I have everything that I had in Afghanistan is no more with me. So I don't know I will get access to my bank account or not. My home is currently seized by someone. I don't know who he is, but they don't allow my brothers to go there. They just came to my house and now they're living there.
Mm.
I don't know who this guy is. Is he a Talib or someone else? But uh, uh, but that's also gone. I'm here in Istanbul at this moment. I want to restart as an entrepreneur, but for sometimes maybe I will look for a decent job around to just pay my bills, to send my children to school. They're right now going to school. They're going to government school, not the school that I wanted them to go, because the school that I want to send them at this moment I cannot afford. But I know that after sometimes everything will be happy, good, especially when I have families like you and part of a startup grind, the major community that I have been involved with since I've started my own business, other communities that I'm part of. And throughout this all, one thing that I learned, Drake, as you said, what means a lot in the age of technology is people to people connection. Exactly the motto of a startup grind is to make people, not connections. And this is showing here what we have been through in last 45 days, what you have been doing, what you are doing now. all the support that I see in these messages. I'm sorry that I'm talking and I cannot respond to all of them. This shows that we have not made connections. I'm part of a family where I have friends. And I've realized this because when Western Union as a system was not able to work, when Bank Swift and all these IBANs and others were not able to do, we did it with connection through people. And with friendship through people, we did it. We managed in a very whenever I talk to my friends that on that tough time I was able to take some money to Kabul. So everyone was shocked how you did it. How can we do this? How can we do this for our families and others? So this is the kind of situation. I learned that being part of community is the major thing. One of my friends, Nicole from Germany, she has done some very nice research, and she has named the result as a power triangle. So she says that whoever wants to be powerful and successful in the life, whether it's business, personal life, or government or anything, they need to take care of three dimensions of the power triangle: the resources, the knowledge, and the network. But for me today, I see that the network part is more than everything
Mm.
because I'm part of a startup grind community and I have the whole family behind me. They will not let me down. They will support me morally, like they are doing right now in this chat. And this is very important. So I find now I knew about it, but now I see the effect of being part of communities and building communities. And thank you, Derek, and all those co-founders of Startup Grind who built this most important network around the globe so that no one, when goes to another country like I'm here, I don't feel alone because at least I know that there is a chapter director here, and when I need help I can go to him or her. Same way, if tomorrow I'm going to Spain, I'm going to any part of Africa, Arab, or everywhere, I if I know no one, at least I know that there will be a chapter of a Startup Grind, and I can go and talk to the director, and the director will know me. So this is what I can say. uh, uh, Startup Grind was a life changing thing for me when it come to my life because this was basically my business started with a Startup Grind. Maybe in another time I will also share with you about this, that how Startup Grind built my business, built my personality in Afghanistan, and how it's helping me right now being here. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Drake, for founding this great community.
Thank you so much for all of that. It's very, very moving to hear that. Um, you know, I personally am incredibly, incredibly inspired by what you have done, the business you built. One of the things that's really, I'll just share this, and we're sort of in the last 9 minutes here, but you know, one of the problems that we had getting people out is that there's so much money and programs that went into Afghanistan. 75% of the GDP is from outside aid and from outside governments. But what's really fascinating about Ahmad and his team in the Startup Grind team is they never applied for aid for Startup Grind. It was never about money. And in basically 100% of all programs that were run in Afghanistan from U.S. entities or U.S. partnerships, a large part of the reason those things existed was because this is the only way that people can make money, because there is no sustainable GDP. And so you know, as a result, you know, none of our people had their names on the USAID list because we didn't go get aid. And when I say we, I really mean Ahmad and his team, because for Startup Grind, they did it because they thought it was the right thing to do. They did it because they genuinely wanted to help people, and that in a sea of people that are opportunists and that are, I'm sure, some taking advantage of the situation, others just doing what was available to them. I don't fault anyone for doing that, but it is remarkable to me that Ahmad and his team, they were really, I mean, in the purest sense and form of what the values are, they were doing it, and more so than anything I've ever done. And so, you know, I've been incredibly inspired by that. You know, Ahmad, you know, you're an incredible person. I wanted to spend a lot of the time here just you talking about your skills and what you're able to do, because you need to get a job, and you should be the CEO of a big company, which you are your own company. But in the meantime, until you can get that back and can keep doing that, you need to get something going, right? And so I wanted to spend a lot of time here because we have this great network to try to to sort of get the word out with our team. But as I was sort of planning to do that, I wanted to share a couple things that we at Stark Grind want to do. The first thing, it was mentioned here in the comments by Luca and others that we want to start a GoFundMe for your family. It's a great idea. Startup Grind HQ is going to put in the first $5,000 towards that GoFundMe to get that going, specifically for you and your family, and we will distribute that as widely as we can. We've set up a GoFundMe for Zara, so we haven't promoted that yet, but we have that ready, and we're going to get one for you and your family. The second thing is we have the global tickets that are going on sale starting this week. And we're going to announce our first two speakers. And those first two speakers are you and Zara to start. And we're going to donate 20% of the proceeds for the first couple of months towards those two funds of the GoFundMe, and also for you and your family, and also for Zara. It's just a way to get the awareness out and to get people thinking about you. We want to help everyone. We're still going to, keep helping others we're trying to get out. But first, we're going to just focus on you and Zara and try to help you all a little bit. And then the third thing is, and this kind of goes towards, what I was just saying about spending time here talking about you. I would, if you'd be up for it, I'd love for you to join the HQ team and work with us, and to help us build these communities that we're building. I don't know exactly what you're going to do, honestly. I know I have like 5 ideas of things you could do, working with Finn and the community team, and helping them, telling this story, sharing this with others that are here, and so many others to help us share the mission and the values. It could be you're an incredible salesman. It could be something with that. You've done an amazing job at working with governments, which we've never been very good at, frankly. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it'll work out. And at least for us, you don't have to accept right now. You should look at what it is and make sure it's a good thing. But we'd love for you to join our team, and that can, at least, it could be for 3 months or 6 months or 6 years. We can just start, and hopefully, again, like you said, you can go back to Afghanistan and get back to some of the normal things. We hope that's going to happen, but if it doesn't, we can just carry on together and sort of preparing over the next 6 months for Global at the end of February. Hopefully we will be able to get you there in person to speak and to meet, the dozens of other directors, who hopefully are hundreds, depending on, how the travel restrictions are at that time. But, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but if you'd like to join the HQ team, it's certainly available to you. We would love to have you and start working with you. we will also open up our network to help you find other opportunities if there's something better that we can find for you.
Well, Drake, you made me speechless with all your generosity and love that's coming toward me and everyone in the family that I'm seeing your messages here. I will respond to each one. I don't know how baby works, but I hope I can have these
Very
messages
seamless.
even
Perfect.
after this discussion as well, so that I can reply to each one of you separately. I'm amazed to be part of a startup grind team. I was part of a startup grind team, but now, uh, if I can work for the community as a team member of a startup grind and work with our community, that will be amazing. Thank you very much for that. Online, I don't know how it will work because I haven't worked online so far. But thank you for this. And if I'm not a burden on the team, I will be very happy to join you guys. And I'm sure that I will like it a lot, and it will not allow me to become a CEO again. I hope it will not, because it will be very hard to leave back. Anyhow, thank you very much for that. And thank you everyone for offering the GoFundMe thing for me and for Zara. But I have a request from you guys here, that if you're making this GoFundMe.com uh, campaign, please don't make it just for me. I I somehow can figure out a way, because I have friends like Derek, like you, and everyone. But let's make it for the whole startup grind team. So I know they have a bad situation in Kabul too. So whatever comes there, then we can decide how to split it between me and the families that are there. But I'm really, really thankful of everyone. And I know our community is a huge community. So even if we join hand together, we can make a lot of changes for those people back in Kabul. Not only the startup grind family, but if we see that we have a good amount in hand, there are thousands of other people who also need help. And but I know that the priority is our own team. But I'm thankful of everyone for this gesture, and I'm honored. And what else to say? I think the word thank you is not something to praise you all with, but you're just have our love, our support, and everyone's. I will tell about this story to all team members. I will talk to them one by one and tell them about the session, about what we went through in this session, the emotions, the all the support that you guys show. This all I will deliver this all to the team back home.
Thank you. Well, look, we expect you to be at work on Monday, so let's get this figured out in the next 24 hours. Let's get you signed up and figured out. And I know a lot of the team is excited about the idea of working with you. You know, thank you for your selflessness, and we're not going to forget about the other team members we have in Afghanistan. But let's work on you. Let's work on Zara. We're working on them as well, and helping them, and we'll find ways to help them. But really appreciate you sharing this with us and being so open. Appreciate everyone joining. We will end here with that, and we'll be sort of sharing links and other things that we can what we can do to help Ahmad and Zara and others who are part of our global family. So thank you so much. Have a great evening, everyone. Have a great day, and we will talk to you very soon. Keep grinding. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Keep grinding.